After my announcement video of me playing Mii Brawler more and not playing Pikachu as much as a solo main, today I just wanted to go over what characters I'm going to be playing what character for. If I'm going to be playing Pika, I'm going to be playing Brawler, because I kind of left it pretty vague of like, oh, if I like the match with Pika, I'll play Pika, but I kind of want to just let y'all know which matchups I like as what, so if you watch me in tournaments, you can know who to expect, because it's not like I'm going to be a solo Brawler main now, although I do want to focus on him more than I necessarily would like at a major, because I just want to get him up to snuff. So let's talk about who I'm going to be playing for who. So Pikachu, Mii Brawler, not sure yet. I'm actually going to make this blue because I want to. Actually, the Pikachu one should be yellow. I'm a fool. This one should be yellow. Mii Brawler should be green. And this should be blue. First off, again, it's going to be the characters I'm very comfortable against with Pikachu, is the people I'm going to be playing Pikachu with. So I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. So Banjo and Kazooie, probably going to be playing Pika. I have a lot of experience in that matchup. I also think it's very good for Pika, so that's fine. Bayonetta, honestly, this is one I'm not sure yet, because I've heard that people, like Bayonetta mains, think that Mii Brawler can be difficult, but I don't see it, but also that's because I have only learned how to play Bayo against Pika, who has a projectile and quick attack and a bunch of that stuff, and like isn't really susceptibly edge-guarded. So for now, it's definitely going to be a Pika, but not 100% sure as time goes on. Bowser and Bowser Jr. are definitely both going to be Pika. I think Pika Bowser is one of Pika's best matchups. I think Pika Bowser Jr. is pretty simple if you are willing to just T-Jolt. Again, like, it's not like I don't like camping if I can T-Jolt. If I can't camp with T-Jolt, that's when I have a problem with like meta characters and stuff like that. But for now, I think Pika does perfectly fine in that. I also think Brawler does well versus her. I don't see it as much, but I don't know. Byleth, same thing. Byleth, T-Jolt is really good in this matchup, and it really controls the pace. And also, please stop saying Bayonetta there. Why does it say Bayonetta there? No. And hey, while we're here, don't forget to subscribe. I would appreciate it for more content. You know, I'm gonna be doing like a top 10 video. I'm doing a bunch of other stuff that's happening soon, so don't forget to subscribe so you can check it out. Captain Falcon, I'm actually going to be starting to lean into Mii Brawler. I think this might end up being a Pikachu matchup anyway, but I really like what Brawler can do in this matchup. No, my music. I really like what Mii Brawler can do versus Captain Falcon. I think you can combo him super hard. I think you can edge trap him really easily, and while you can't get the amount of edge guards that like Pika necessarily can, he can stay a lot more solid, and he's not going to die ridiculously early because he isn't super light. So the longevity really helps, and then you can kill Falcon pretty easily with like down throw up and stuff like that. Chrom is absolutely a Pikachu matchup. Again, one back air equals death potentially. That's like, if it's a hard edge guarding matchup, I'm basically gonna be playing Pika in almost all of them. Similar, Cloud. I don't think Brawler does well versus Cloud either. I think that matchup's one of Brawler's worst, so easily a Pika matchup, and if I play Spargo, he got it probably. That's fine by me. Corrin is one of those that I'm not 100% sure yet. I think Brawler does well against Corrin, but so does Pika, but the Corrin players right now, especially Shattuck, are just so good. I know Shattuck also beat Shiny Mark at, like recently at Santa Paws, and I lost to him at SmashCon, so maybe I'll be trying Brawler into this. I'm not 100% sure. I do like Brawler versus some sword characters because I can use BDK to kind of get around it, or if I start using Suplex, that would be really nice as well. I'm definitely not sure yet. I'm also gonna have I realized I'm gonna have a both tier because like it's a matchup I'm comfortable with both characters, and the first off is going to be Daisy and Peach. I'm actually gonna put Peach because I just like putting Peach on these tier lists instead. I do like both characters against Peach. I think Brawler has a lot of hitboxes that are really good in the matchup. I think Pikachu can, you know, play really slow and passive in the matchup, but again, very T-Jolt heavy passive, and I recently have had more success versus the Peaches in terms of like recently as in like since the pandemic. So I think I could do both. I think both are fine. I know I've gone Brawler versus, there was a Peach I played last Shine when I was still on GameCube. There was like I beat Mutace with Box with literally both characters. It was like Pika game 1, Pika game 2, Brawler game 3. So I think both are fine. For Pit and Dark Pit, I am going to put them in Pikachu for now, just because I feel like I won't like dealing with short hop rising aerials that are like really good with Brawler as much right now at the very least. So like dealing with Nair would be difficult, even though I know I could theoretically Nair it out of shield or up B out of shield. Just like for now, Pikachu is definitely more comfortable in that matchup, although they are floaty. So they get hit really hard by down throw Thrupper. Oh, Pit actually doesn't get hit by down throw Thrupper that bad. It's only 92 to 100. So yeah, that's like not good enough to like super spam it. Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong honestly are both definitely Pika matchups. Pika does very well against Diddy Kong. I think it's one of Diddy's like not fun matchups for sure. And then Donkey Kong is very simple for DK. And like, even though this technically could be here, because I'm comfortable with both. Pika just has a little bit more control. Maybe on certain stages I would play DK, but I mean, Pika DK is so easy. Like, it's not difficult at all. Dr. Mario, same thing. I just have more experience. I'm able to edge guard. Like, it's definitely an edge guarding matchup, so Pika gonna win that for sure. I played Bacon this weekend. It felt fine, so definitely this. Duck Hunt as well. It's an edge guarding matchup, and I know the beginning it's gonna look like I'm still playing mostly Pika, but also I'm gonna play Pika against a lot of the low tiers because you back air them and I win. Duck Hunt, I mean, has a lot, and Pikachu's light, so it can be kind of annoying, but like the edge guarding is so good for Pika that it doesn't matter what else Brawler has, and also the frame 1 can escape can be kind of annoying for Pika to deal with, or sorry, for Brawler to deal with, because like if I'm dropping my combo slightly, then it'll be bad. So Pika as well versus the top 2 Spaceys at least, because they're very much edgeguard heavy matchups. It's matchups where I can touch of death them. It's matchups where T-Jolt can force them into specific situations, and Brawler kind of has to jump into them. And even though I could play Brawler versus Fox, like I'm still much more comfortable with, you know, more consistent out of shield options, easy, like consistent combos, and the problem of like Pika killing isn't really as relevant against these characters because you edgeguard them. I edgeguard literally every single character on this list so far except for Bayo, who's just a holdover from Smash 4. Like that's literally like edgeguard, it's Bayo. Edge guarding sometimes, edge guarding, edge guarding sometimes, edge guarding, like it's all edge guard characters. And similar to that, Ganon, also edge guarding. Also Greninja, less so because of edge guarding and more so because of just T-Jolt control. Like I don't really know how to deal with characters with amazing ground movement as Brawler yet. Like not 100% sure at the moment. So like, and also like I can deal with dash attack really well, good out of shield options. And even though again Brawler has good out of shield options, I'm less good at hitting the nairs out of shield or like the uppies out of shield the correct direction sometimes if I like can't tell what side the cross up is on. Whereas like Pika has like nair out of shield, which, you know, it feels a little bit better. Hero, though. Hero's a me Brawler matchup. I'm tired of losing to Paul with Pika. I feel like I can be playing this matchup so well, and then I'm going to die at 30 to a, you know, non-crit F-Smash, or, you know, a random snooze, or like just the good rolls are so much better against Pika because Pika's so light, and Brawler can cheese Hero pretty hard with combos. Again, the one win I have on Beast Mode Paul offline. Like maybe I beat him before when he wasn't like super good, but recently when he's been good, it's literally because I cheesed him at 0 as Brawler. Like I hit him at nair at 0 and he died last stock, game 5. So yeah. Ice Climbers is definitely a both matchup. It favors Pika just because of the amount of experience I have with, you know, just Brawl Pika versus Ice Climbers and, you know, just the beginning of this game. But I think Brawler does well versus Ice Climbers. I think Brawler wins because you have Suplex, you have the ability to edgeguard this character, just because of like shot put can be annoying, or like if belay happens, you just like drop off of it in nair. It can be pretty good for Brawler, even though I'll still be favoring Pika, but both are definitely fine. For Ike, I kind of want to start playing me Brawler. Again, it's not like Pika's bad at the matchup, it's just, again, Pika's really squishy, so if I, you know, get greedy or die or something like that, or sorry, get greedy and get hit by nair at like 65, I'm gonna die, as opposed to Brawler, who, even though I don't have T-Jolt, can still kind of play a similar game. I have a frame 3 up B, so I can, like, if I run under far enough, I can get up B out of shield on nair. Obviously, parries can be huge. I think Ike gets hit by the combos really hard for for Brawler. So it's really good in that aspect. Incineroar, I do like it for both, but Pika is definitely the better matchup, and it's also like a pretty easy matchup. Again, it's an edge guarding matchup, so therefore I'm going to go Incineroar. Or sorry. Inkling is both. I like both of these matchups. I feel like Brawler just outbuttons Inkling, and Pika out-controls Inkling, and it's one of those T-Jolt controls, so I'm fine with both. Absolutely think both characters beat Inkling pretty solid. For Isabelle, I don't know if I want to do... I'm not sure for Isabelle. Just, again, it's not really a matchup I worry about. Like, even though I lost Axel at the DreamHack pre-local last year, I still think, like, Pika does fine in the matchup, Brawler does fine in the matchup. They're both good, but I'm not sure. Like, I think I could do either, but I'm just not sure because I don't have a ton of experience in the matchup, and there's not a ton of Isabelles anywhere, so, yeah. Joker's definitely a Pika matchup. It's an edge guarding matchup. It's one of Joker's worst matchups. Easily, you know, easily going to be a Pika matchup. For Puff, I'm down with both. I think Brawler and Pika both do really well in the matchup. Brawler because you hit Puff and Puff dies, and then Pika because Pika has a lot of control, good recovery as well, so you're not going to die as much. Like, Brawler's a little bit more of a swingy matchup because I either kill Puff or Puff kills me, even though it's not quite as easy for Puff to edgeguard as you would think. But either way, I think, like, probably leaning Pika, but Brawler is totally fine in the matchup. Kazuya is absolutely a Pika matchup. I mean, Pika just has too much control in that matchup. T-Jolt is so good. against Kazuya, and again, the edge guarding, even though you're generally not going to get edge guard kills on Kazuya, it's mostly just going to be percent if they're recovering correctly, but Pika honestly is my fighting game characters in general, like versus Ken, versus Ryu. Where are they? Where's Ryu? Terry's there as well. Like, the control that Pika has is just so good, so it's either control or edge guarding. Like, Pika's definitely edge guards these three, right? Like the first three fighting game characters, and then has a lot of control against Kazuya and is small and hard to hit, and like the combos don't work as well because of just like frame 2 air dodge and just am small, and I pancake super hard, and then Pika just does well versus the other three fighting game characters because control and hits really hard, and then like edge guard super hard. So yeah, definitely totally fine in that matchup as well. Also, again, Pika's a heavy character. Like, I made it sound like I'm gonna play Brawler in more matchups than everything, but like, Pika shits on a lot of the cast, and like shits on a lot of the cast like easily too. It's just not necessarily tournament relevant characters for my play style. So King Dedede and K. Rool are very easy for Pika. T-Jolt, and then you bully them. Although, like, Brawler, I can do this. I think Gordo can be a little bit annoying for Brawler to deal with if you're not playing passive. But currently, it's like totally fine. Like, Pika Dedede is like so easy, so it doesn't matter. For Kirby, I kind of just want playing Brawler in this matchup. I like playing Brawler against the Super Floaties, and even though, again, if I really needed to, I could play Pika, I want to play Brawler just because you hit Kirby and Kirby explodes, and it's like really easy, and Kirby's, like, Brawler's buttons may not be as good, but they're like pretty close to as good as Kirby's, and then of course I have the mobility, and I have the kill combos, so really good in that aspect. Link, I want to play Brawler for this matchup. Again, I think Pika wins for sure, but it's definitely doable for Brawler. Like, it's good enough for Brawler that I want to play Brawler because I can, like, play the Nair battle, and I can up B out of shield his Nair, whereas he can't up B out of shield my Nair. It's kind of like, it's just good for Brawler to just, like, do normal Brawler things, and if I have issues with it, I can always... And if I have issues with Brawler, I can always go Pika. Like, Pika definitely does better in the matchup. It's just one of those I want to learn more with Brawler. Is there a character that beats Pika and Brawler? No, because Pika only loses, like, 3 matchups. And Brawler does well versus those. Little Mac is definitely a Pika matchup. It's back air the matchup. That's literally all it is. Like, it's being passive with T-Jolt and back throws and edge guards. And Brawler, even though Brawler wins, it's not like that bad. Lucario is definitely me Brawler matchup. That's one of those awkward matchups for Pika where it's like low-key even, or maybe even Lucario wins. But Brawler, I think, shits on this character because he's too good at killing and has so many ways to stray kill you. This might be like a flashing Mach Punch matchup, so I can like randomly get FMP kills if they're trying to get greedy for like up being on the stage. You know, I can hit a little harder. Like, just more kill options is always going to be better against Lucario. Yeah, definitely me Brawler matchup. It was a me Brawler matchup before I was going to take Brawler more seriously. So yeah, absolutely. Same with Lucas. Lucas is definitely a matchup where I don't super like it as Pika. I think Pika does fine. I don't think it's losing by any means, but it's just like annoying, and Brawler can kind of just have a button and like Nair. Like, Nair is just so good, and the control that Brawler can have is enough. And again, explosive combos, more explosive than vice versa. So I think it's totally fine. Lucina, even though I like Lucina versus Pikachu, I do want to start playing these slower sword characters with Brawler just because like BDK or Suplex, depending on which one I'm using, is really good. And I think being able to just like hit really hard on these matchups and like not rely on, like, even though Brawler combos are tight, I feel like they are easier than Pika combos, and I don't want to rely on like, hey, I have to hit every single quick attack, I have to hit every single combo, and also I have to never be wrong, because again, the weight difference of Brawler and Pika is significant. So I don't want, like, I've died too many times early to just like, oh, Lucina back-aired me randomly out of my quick attack at 75 off stage and I'm dead. Whereas like Brawler's not gonna die that early. Like, I might get edge guarded, but I'm not gonna die that early. Luigi is a both. I like the matchup with both characters. I think Brawler wins, and I also think Pika wins, but like they're both +1. Pika is more control, whereas Brawler, I can just kind of beat Luigi up, and then down throw up B works a really long time on him because like down B doesn't quite get him out of the combo. And he's floaty, so it just dies really early. And you know, it's not like Lucina, or I mean, Lucina I still want to play Brawler, but it's not like some of the other frame 1 escapes like Focus or Bats Within, where like it's gonna ruin my combo. Like, I can bait out this down B pretty easily, and then I just get like a huge combo starter, like whatever I want, and letting Brawler get a combo starter is insane. So both are good in my opinion. I think it's fine. For Mario, I'm not sure if it's a not sure yet or a both, because I'm comfortable in the matchup with Pika at this point. I just have to play well. And again, sometimes that can be annoying, but also same with Brawler. I just need to play well and play a little bit more passive. Like, I don't like the ledge situation in the Pika matchup, but you know, I do like the control with like disjointed up air, which in my opinion is really nice, whereas Brawler doesn't quite have that, so the juggles are a little harder. But I think it's fine for both. Martha's also gonna be also in Mii Brawler. Again, realistically, Pika, I'm way more comfortable with the matchup right now, but I want to learn it as Brawler. I think Brawler does good in those matchups, so yeah, for sure. Mega Man, Pika matchup for sure. I think Pika Mega Man is one of Mega Man's worst matchups. Even I played Peebnut in a lot of friendlies at Santa Paws, and we were going back and forth, but Peeb is just insane. I mean, he just won DreamHack, which I'm probably gonna go over in a video. So yeah, he's nuts, but I do think Pika still beats Mega Man like pretty handily. As long as I'm not playing dumb. Meta Knight is both. I mean, I definitely know it better as Pika, but I think Brawler also does well versus Meta Knight. I know Meta Knight doesn't like comboing fast fallers, but at the same time, Brawler can get edge guarded, whereas Pikachu kind of can't. So like game one, I'd probably go Pika, but like it's a stage dependent type of thing. I guess I could do both / stage dependent is this title, because like against like the flatter stages I can go Pika, and against on the platform stages I can go Brawler. So yeah, for Mewtwo, Brawler is definitely not the choice here. I mean, I just know it super well as Pika. I think Pika kind of destroys Mewtwo. It's like not a bad matchup at all. Like Pika does very, very well in my opinion. I've never struggled with Mewtwo's, so definitely that. For Mii Brawler, I'm gonna play Pika, but for Pika, I'm gonna play Mii Brawler. I actually do think I played a lot correctly against Shiny Mark, but I got antsy and I let him hit me in situations where I could have been a little bit more difficult to hit. So they're actually swapped. I mean, I could play the Brawler Ditto, I could play the Pika Ditto, but as it stands now, I like the opposites just because I don't really like mirror matches that much. For Mii Gunner is absolutely a Pika matchup. It's just a lot of control, and I feel like my ability to edge guard is super clutch in this matchup, like with Thunders or just with back airs. So yeah, definitely a Mii Gunner is going to be the Pika matchup. For me, Sword Fighter, it doesn't really matter. I think both do really well. It's not even like I'm scared of it. Like it's just Pika does fine, Brawler does, like they both win by like an equal amount in my opinion. So like, you know, Brawler will struggle to kill both characters, and that's the big thing about that matchup. So yeah. Min Min is also both. I think Pika obviously has better edge guarding at low percents, but then it can kind of taper off at higher percents, where I'm sending them too far out so they get like smash attack mix-ups, whereas Brawler is a little bit better at killing Min Min and is better at getting through the arms, because you can just like nair through the arms that Min Min uses, because the pings with hitboxes and nair lasts forever and is strong enough. So it's both / stage dependent, I think. Ness and Game & Watch are obviously Brawler matchups. They were Brawler matchups before. Same with Pac-Man, honestly. I can also play Pika with Pac-Man if I want to play for timeout, but if I don't want to play for timeout, then I would rather play Brawler, because Brawler just hits harder. Brawler is like obviously my counter pick for Game & Watch, and Ness has been for over a year, so being able to up B out of shield stuff, being able to down throw up B, being able to avoid the ledge trap scenarios, being able to avoid Chef and PK Thunder is really, really huge in my opinion, because I don't like that about the Pika matchup, is like, I feel like I'm just going to get hit by those moves or like get two-framed a bunch, and that's not fun. So Brawler kind of just ignores those situations, which is very good. For Palutena, it's a Pika matchup, because Pika just, you know, it's the matchup I know, right? Pika Palu is really good for Pika. And even though I think Brawler does fine, it's not a matchup that I feel like I want to play like even on the ground, whereas I want T-Jolt. Like I just want T-Jolt out, so that's fine. Pichu low-key is a Brawler matchup. I could also win with Pika, but Pichu Brawler is like kind of free because Pichu actually dies so early to down throw Thrupper. What is it? It is 62% with no rage, which you can't see because my camera's covering it, but like 62% with no rage from the floor. So it's so rough for Pichu to, or like not, you know, live. For Olimar, it's a Brawler matchup. Again, I know it with Pika, but I don't know it well, and I don't like it. It's really annoying. It's basically just a Dabuzz check, and if I play Candle, whatever, but like Brawler beats the Pikmin off of him really well. Again, he's light, so he's gonna get comboed super hard. Down throw up is really, really good versus Olimar. I think that, yeah, I think Brawler just does well in this matchup, absolutely. Piranha Plant, it's a both. I think both are totally fine. I would probably favor Pika, but Brawler does fine in the matchup, in my opinion. Like, you just do so much damage, and I don't actually know if he gets down throw Thrupper. Yeah, 83 to 104 is a pretty big window. So it's definitely both. I would probably start Pika just for control, but I think Brawler, like, if I was more comfortable with Brawler, it would be just a Brawler first matchup. For Pokemon Trainer, I want to get better at this matchup with Brawler. Pikachu, again, it's fine until you just, like, mess up a little bit and get, like, backered by Charizard at 50, because, again, he is so light. Like, every time I lose to Pokemon Trainer, it's just like, oh, I died at, like, 60 because they, like, parried, they, like, guessed right with a Flare Blitz, or they, like, parry back air. Or like, you know, two-frame me with forward tilt, and I'm dying at like really ridiculously early percents. And even though it's going to happen for every character, because Charizard is just strong, I feel like Brawler beats up the Pokemon Trainer really well. I think does well versus each individual matchup as long as I'm remembering to DI up. I think Squirtle wins the Brawler match for PT. I think Brawler beats Squirtle. Like, forward tilt's just annoying, but yeah. For Aegis, it's definitely a Pika matchup because, again, it's an edge guarding matchup. I also think that Brawler loses to Aegis. Maybe it's even. I did like the way Kid played it, but I also don't think that Leo knew the matchup. But it's definitely, Pika just has control in this matchup, and as long as I don't play disadvantage like a dummy, it's fine. Richter or the Belmonts, same thing. It's an edge guarding matchup, so play Pika. Ridley is both. The control that Pika has is really nice with T-Jolt, but again, sometimes you're going to die really early to like forward smash 2 frames, and it's a little bit harder to do that against Brawler, and Brawler combos the shit out of Ridley. Like, I actually, like, if anything, it's going to go into the favor of Brawler just because Brawler, in my opinion, does really well. For Rob is a both, depending on the stage. I think the flat stages Pika does really well. I think the platform stages Brawler does really well. You hit Brawler hits Rob so hard, and it's nice. And it's really, like, not difficult, but, like, the problem is sometimes it can be swingy with, you know, Pika's recovery, because it's, like, easy to 2-frame if you just, like, are going to guess 1 zip over 2 zips, and then you, like, down air, and that can be a little bit scary. And again, he's light, so, like, if you're going to get up tilted randomly anti-aired at, like, 65, good luck, you might just die. Whereas that's less the case for Brawler, even though Brawler is more susceptible to, like, the tech chases, and I think down tilt's a little better versus him. For Robin, I do think both characters do well, but Pika just controls that matchup so easily, in my opinion, that it's definitely a Pika matchup. For Rosa, I think Brawler does well in this matchup. I think as long, like, if you can hit, you know, Luma away and you're able to keep Rosa in disadvantage, I think just like the burst kill options of Brawler is really nice for against Rosa, because again, like, what percent is it? Rosalina and Luma, 75 to 92 with no rage. So with rage, you're starting to kill Peach at like, Rosa at like 65, 60, 55. That's really, really good. Obviously, the control's annoying, but the control's annoying for Pika too, because Pika doesn't have a lot of range, and like at least Brawler has BDK, or Suplex, depending on what I'm using. So I also think maybe that's an FMP matchup just to like smack Luma out of the way. I'm not 100% sure how the end lag works on that, but yeah. Roy is absolutely a Pika matchup. I think it's one of Roy's worst, and I think that Brawler loses to Roy. I don't like that matchup as Brawler personally, but maybe that's just me just having a lot of Pika Roy experience, so maybe I could use Brawler in it, I'm not sure. For Samus, this is a both / stage dependent. Actually, it's more so Brawler, just because I feel like, I know that Samus is, or I know like Kid specifically, the Mii Brawler from France, doesn't like this matchup, but I think that's because he doesn't use BDK. I think BDK is like the most important thing for this matchup, like ever, because you can like go off stage. Against Samus, you can like hit bomb recoveries, and you can also BDK over charge shot, which in my opinion are like huge. Like being able to go short hop, react to a charge shot, and just hit Samus is crazy. And then of course, Brawler hits really hard. As long as you're not being dumb on shield and like getting, you know, upbeat a billion times, like the matchup's fine. Again, 92 to 110, it's a big thropper window as well, so that's good. Sephiroth, in my opinion, I think both do well, but I think Brawler does better in the matchup. Just because Brawler has like a lot more, like the Sephiroth's going to have to footstool out of shield everything that Brawler does, and because he's a fast faller, he can actually mix up his offense a little more than Pika, whereas like Pika's like, I'm gonna forward air, and you're gonna be able to tell that I'm forward airing, and then, you know, maybe back out of the way. Like it's easier to whiff punish Pika, even though I have T-Jolt and I can like run. I think that like Sephiroth has enough answers for Pika, and again, I still think Pika wins the matchup, but again, like with Wing, it can be really scary and you're gonna die really early, whereas that's not gonna happen as often with Brawler, and then Brawler kills Sephiroth super early. I think down throw Thrupper is very good versus him as well. Yes, 70, well, it's not like a big range, 79 to 85, but it can kill super early on him, especially again with Rage. Any platform combos are gonna just murder Sephiroth. Sheik, I actually like Sheik against, I like both. I like this matchup as both because I feel like Brawler is one of the only characters that can just kind of, you know, contend with buttons on Sheik, because Brawler has safe buttons, Brawler has buttons that do big combos. And even though like Pika has like T-Jolt and dash attack, which can be annoying for Sheik to deal with, absolutely. Like I kind of like the risk reward is like super Pika favorite in that matchup, but in my opinion, so is Brawler's, so I like both. Is Game Watch Pika -2 for Pika? No. Shulk. I think Shulk is a Pika matchup. I actually do like it with both. I really don't know why the Brawler players hate this matchup so much, because every Brawler you talk to is like, Shulk's the worst matchup. I think it's even. Pika wins the matchup, but again, Pika can be a little scary. Like, they're both scary because it's like, you got forward throw off stage at 50. Are you going to die to Shulk Smash aren't fair, but like that's literally every character. I do like the mobility that, and like again, there's being able to like short hop, fast fall, like just the fall speed in general for Brawler. But obviously it's like matchup I'm more comfortable with Pika at the moment in like a tournament setting. But again, that might change as I get more comfortable with Brawler. Snake, it's also both. I do like both matchups. I think that Brawler kills Snake super early. I was playing Chronos and friendlies at Santa Paws, and it was going like super well, like as well as my Pika friendlies were going, just because you like hit Snake so hard. Like I think in theory maybe the matchup is like +1 Brawler and then Pika's is like even. It's because Smash and Shell. No, I understand that it nullifies the combos, but then just like play advantage, and like Shulk's frame data sucks, so you just like parry everything, and it's like easy to do that with Brawler in my opinion. And you also just like up B if he's close to you. But yeah, definitely both, or it's like stage dependent, where if it's like, especially if it's stage first, a Snake goes to small battlefield or like his counter pick, then I can go me Brawler, and then my counter picks I can go Pika. I like both. For Sonic, it's definitely a Pika matchup. I don't mind this matchup as much as I used to for Brawler, but Pika just has so much control on the ground with T-Jolt, so mostly that. It's mostly that. Just like T-Jolt is so good in the matchup, and then threatening T-Jolt and not T-Jolting is still good in the matchup, so yeah. Sora is definitely Pika. I mentioned it earlier because someone donated. But Pika has so much control in this matchup, and the biggest thing is I don't like fast fallers versus Sora, because fast fallers get absolutely destroyed by the Sora combos. Like Nair stuff, like Nair, fair, down tilt, Nair, like it's just so bad for fast fallers. Like they get comboed the hardest. Like it's like, the heavies and then fast fallers. So I don't want to let that be susceptible, even though I think when you get in, it's fine for Brawler. But Pika just has control and then can edge guard, and it's like totally fine. Steve, I want to start playing me Brawler in this matchup. I think that it can obviously be explosive for Steve because you can get edge guarded a little bit easier. But Brawler can cheese Steve because of down throw up B or like platform combos with up B and like tech chases and stuff like that. Has generally more ways to deal with, especially minecart, because I can like back air minecart as Brawler, whereas there's not really anything Pika can do for minecart besides respect it and avoid it. And I really don't like that, especially in high pressure situations. I'm just like, man, I hope I don't get hit by the move they're for sure gonna throw out somewhere here. Brawler can also break blocks super easily because you can like down B on top of them and then it edge cancels and you get like super cool movement off of that. Like as long as I still have to be patient with both, but I think that's fine. And I think Brawler, like in tournament, does better because I'm not going to be able to play perfect as Pika in that matchup. For Toon Link, that's probably a Pika matchup just because of edge guarding for the most part. Even though Toon Link has a tether recovery and is kind of floaty, Pika can still edge guard that pretty hard. I know that a lot of the Brawler players don't like Toon Link just because it's hard to get like the combos on him apparently. Where's Toon Link on the, down throw up B? It's the only floaty character that down throw up B doesn't work on without having like a ridiculous like frame 1 escape option like Ivysaur up there. So definitely a Pika matchup for sure. I know it's a little bit annoying for, like, I'm fine with it, but also like I feel like I would get hit by bomb stuff, and Pikachu has a lot of control in the matchup because of like that shield options and just T-Jolt in general. So again, if it's a T-Jolt matchup, I want to play Pika basically. Villager, similar thing to Isabelle. One, it's an edge guarding matchup. I think I put Isabelle, I'm not sure yet, but Villager for sure. I feel like I understand that matchup a lot better just because of Smash 4. Pikachu does really well in the matchup. I'm not gonna have issues. Like if I do have issues with Villager, they're outplaying me. They fucking got it. So I do like Villager versus Pikachu a lot. Wario, I do think both Wario and Pika do really well in this matchup, so it's kind of a both. Just how I'm feeling. If my Pika's playing well, I'll play Pika. If my Brawler's playing well, it's Brawler, because obviously I think Pika does well against Wario, but like Gluto's just amazing. But we've seen that Pika can beat Wario, but I don't know if it's like only timeout. But if Brawler gets like a hit, like Wario explodes because he just does that. Down throw up is also a big range on him. It's 27%, so it can be really, really useful in that aspect as well. So it's both. It's depending on who I'm playing or how I'm playing it, depending on stages and stuff like that. So yeah, Wii Fit Trainer, it's one of Wii Fit's one of Wii Fit's worst matchups, one of Pika's best matchups. I think it's like Game & Watch and Pika are the two worst matchups for Wii Fit Trainer, so definitely a Pika matchup. I want to start playing Wolf more with Brawler. It's not really an edgeguard matchup for Pika because it's kind of hard to get edgeguards on Wolf, and I feel like I'm equally as likely to just like down air 2-frame Wolf doing something than I would be for Pika to get an edge guard. The 2-frame air dodge doesn't really bother me too much, and I feel like Pika like sometimes just loses in mobility, and if I'm not playing super passive, it can be really annoying. And I feel like Brawler, I can get like, wave bounce, BDKs. I feel like my back air can like contend with space a little bit better. So I really like, I like Pika Wolf sometimes. but I also like Brawler Wolf, so I like both. Yoshi's a both. I obviously have a lot of control with T-Jolt. Like T-Jolt up tilt, up air juggles and stuff like that, but Brawler hits really, really hard on Yoshi. So as long as I'm not getting like tech chased, and as long as I'm not being too belligerent on shield, which is generally like, am I playing well? Am I being an idiot on someone's shield? Yeah, I'm gonna lose. Why is Wolf hard to edge guard? His air mobility is crazy as a frame 2 air dodge. Like when he's super far out there and has no options, yeah, Pika gets the edge guard, but like, Young Link, I like that matchup as both characters. Honestly, I know that Brawlers universally do well versus Young Link, but also Pika does well versus Young Link as long as you're not playing like a dingus. So I do think both do fine. Like Young Link can't really deal with the frame data of Brawler, and Brawler's combos are really, really good, but Pika gets the edge guards, so it depends on how I feel like I'm gonna be able to get my wins, if I'm gonna be able to like win neutral or you know, get like combos as opposed to like hitting off stage and getting edge guards. So yeah, for sure, I'm down for both. Zelda, I'm also down for both because Brawler hits super hard, and also I can like down B over Phantom if I react to it, where sometimes you can do that with quick attack, but I don't go as high, so sometimes you can get clipped out of the beginning or like the first zip of your quick attack. Again, it's less liable for Brawler to just like randomly explode because like I played poorly. Whereas I feel like Pika with like the lack of range and with quick attack not being plus enough at the beginning, it can be pretty difficult for Pika to like, you have to place actually pretty well. Like Pika wins the matchup, so does Brawler, but Pika you have to play like pretty carefully because Zelda is powerful, right? Phantom kills super early, her kicks are super early, up B kills super early, so you just gotta be a little bit careful. For Zero Suit Samus, I do want to start playing, whoops, not there. I do want to start playing Mii Brawler more in the matchup. I feel like Pikachu does well, but I feel like Brawler just makes more, the matchup makes more sense to me. Because BDK is amazing in that matchup. I feel like I'm able to hit Zero Suit really hard. I feel like I'm able to like get meaningful hits, and I feel like the only way I win Zero Suit Pika is by getting an edge guard or hoping they miss a tech, because I feel like almost every game I beat Mars in, he misses a tech on like a down tilt, and Brawler doesn't have to rely on that, and I feel like Brawler does perfectly fine in the matchup, and like me losing to Mars, he outplayed me, and I was winning by a decent amount, and then like I choked and like did bad panic options. Yeah, that's kind of the list, right? I mean, I know it's not a ton of, like I'm still playing Pika for more characters, because Pika shits on like every mediocre character in this game other than like Lucario. But like of the relevant characters, let me like organize it for like meta relevance, right? If you look at who's relevant, there's like 8 or 9 characters for Pika. There's about 7 or 8 as Brawler, and then like locally I have a hero. And then like obviously relevant for me would be like Mars's Zero Suit, and like if I had to play Armadillo or something like that, and just like I don't like Lucas. And then of course there are a couple of down here that are, there's some that are and some that are not meta relevant. Like the most relevant like 8 or so are here, but like Brawler, or for Rob I'd probably go Pika game 1. For Peach I'd probably go Pika game 1. Like I'd probably go Pika game 1 against a decent, like this is like honestly it's actually a stage list question, because like if it's a bad stage list with like Battlefield, small Battlefield, like no FD as a starter, I'd probably start Brawler just because he's better on those stages, and like feel perfectly confident in that. You thought Olimar's down B ruined me Brawler combos? I mean, it's a frame 2 escape, so like that's the same as a frame 2 air dodge. It's not really it's not any different than that. So like I think, you know, if I group some of these both or stage dependent ones into like where I would probably go game 1, it's like really stage dependent, and I think, you know, sometimes that can push the Mii Brawler off the edge. But again, 3 of the most relevant characters in my opinion right now are Steve, Game & Watch, and Samus, as well as like Cloud and Sonic. Like they're probably like the most relevant 5 matchups at the moment in terms of popularity. There's also a ton of Ness players. Pac-Man is so annoying. You know, Aegis is also up there. Also, Bowser, how'd you sneak in there? So like, you know, there's a couple of tournament relevant characters, like very relevant characters in each category. So I just want to get more comfortable with Brawler in general, because I feel like if, you know, some of these start leaning more towards Brawler, then we're going to have a relatively even list. And yeah, I hope that was a fun video to listen to, or like understand my explanations of when I'm going to be playing Mii Brawler versus when I'm going to be playing Pika. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below, and I'll see you all next time.